Howdy folks, I'm Benton Gray. Welcome to this sneak peek at my current project, Saturday Morning Adventures. This is a mod for a game that, for my money, is the greatest superhero game of all time, Freedom Force. And this is my love letter to the classic cartoons of my youth. I grew up in the 80s, and like many folks of a similar vintage, these cartoons, these heroes of Saturday morning, meant a lot to me, and they still do. They were some of my first exposures to the fantastic, to the heroic, to larger than life characters who were doing the right thing because it was the right thing to do, who lived in worlds where anything was possible, where the world was more magical and more wondrous than that outside our windows. And this left a pretty big impact on me, and I think for many folks who still love these shows. And as the image you're looking at indicates, the core idea of this mod is to put all of these different worlds, all these different characters, all these different universes together to let players enter these different worlds, let players tell stories in these different contexts, and let me do something I've always wanted to do, which is tell stories in these different universes. Mixing all these characters together is not just throwing them into the perfect sandbox that is Freedom Force, although that is part of it. You can throw against Cobra Commander, or Bebop and Rocksteady against the Transformers and see what happens. But this is an opportunity for me to tell stories I've always wanted to tell and to explore these worlds in ways I've always wanted to do, as well as giving those same opportunities to the folks who happen to play the mod. And this is something that incorporates all of the kings of Saturday mornings from when I was a kid. The Ninja Turtles, the G.I. Joe, Transformers, Thundercats, Silverhawks, He-Man, and probably a few others before it's all said and done. At the moment, I've got campaigns for the Ninja Turtles. That's already completed, and I'm building on it, and I'm beginning work on several other campaigns. The idea is that eventually I'll have full campaigns, or at least solid campaigns, for each of the settings, and at least one crossover between Silverhawks and Thundercats, which is something I've always wanted to do. I've always dreamed of ever since I was a kid. This particular behind-the-scenes experience is about the first mission in my Mighty Mutanimals campaign. Now, you might be thinking that wasn't in the list of shows I just recited, and that's because it wasn't. The Mighty Mutanimals are, or rather were, a spin-off of the Archie Comics Ninja Turtles series that itself came out of the classic cartoon show. And it introduced us to this set of characters that were sort of the Ninja Turtles universe equivalent of the Avengers. They were a set of mutant characters that had sort of above average abilities and powers that had a more superheroic tone to them than the more street level turtles themselves. And it was this really great cast of characters, an interesting setup, and an interesting mix of personalities that captured a lot of imaginations, certainly captured mine when I was that age. Unfortunately, the Mutanimals didn't fare too well. They had this great initial miniseries, and then a pretty lackluster comic series that followed that. And when the creators discovered that they weren't going to be the next big spin-off sensation and weren't going to get their own cartoon show and such, they were rather unceremoniously and rather dramatically all killed off in pretty sad fashion. And I've always wanted to have a chance to tell stories with these characters because I thought they were such great characters and they had such potential, and that was never really realized. And they've come back in a couple different incarnations in other Turtles settings, but never, the original flavor, the original spirit that I really wanted to recapture. And so this is my opportunity to do so. And before we jump in, I should clarify that what you're looking at here, this main screen image, this is AI generated. And generally, I am against using AI for things that an actual human artist can do. But in a small mod project like this, the use of AI tools seems like an obvious good. we're a very small community. It's just me and a couple of very kind volunteer artists who do some work for me from time to time. And AI tools are a way for us to sort of extend our reach a bit. And I still make it my policy never to use AI for something I can get a human artist to actually, create for me. But in the absence of such, these kinds of tools can give us the ability to do some cool things. And here you'll see, it's certainly not perfect. We've got some AI oddities like some, corrupted hands and such. But it does sort of capture the spirit of the mod. All right, folks, without further ado, let's jump in. All right, welcome to the first mission of the Mighty Mutanimals campaign. And right from the start, any folks who are fans of the classic Archie series will recognize we're beginning in a rather different spot. The original stories began with the heroes coming together to fight the invasion of the Maligna, an insectoid alien. And I've chosen to begin in a different spot, in part simply for pragmatic reasons. I don't have the Maligna art asset yet, although I do have artists that are working on it. But this also gives me an opportunity to, I think, explore the characters in a bit of a different way. I wanted to bring in the impact of one of their other big antagonists, which is Null, a sort of corrupt businessman, Lex Luthor type, but with demonic overtones, literally. And I begin here with two of my absolute favorite characters, Mondo Gecko and Man Ray. And in fact, I've got them both right here for inspiration. And I thought it'd be fun to sort of build the team in this sort of desperate situation as they're trying to escape from this secret facility where mutants captured by the Earth Protection Force, the EPF, are brought and turned over to Nullcorp for experimentation. I quite love these two, and I have to say I had a really fun time.
I'm your man, Ray.
Writing the dialogue for Mondo.
Man Ray, engaging.
The game itself, Freedom Force, for those of you who aren't familiar, is a sort of mix of real-time strategy and RPG. You've got the ability to control characters in this 3D environment. Here we go. And you have a team of up to 4 heroes who each have their own sets of powers, and I'll show you sort of what that looks like and how that works in a moment. And you can control them in this 3D environment where you can interact with it in pretty good depth. You can rip a lamppost out of the street if you're strong enough and use it to bat enemies around like baseballs. You can smash tanks of gas to achieve various effects, or throw an oil barrel and have it explode. At the moment, I'm going to keep it simple and just take a flying tackle at our villains here. But first, I'm going to change the options here so that we have a bit more of a dynamic. There we go. Experience as we play. So now, instead of it just pausing, we'll get slowed down.
Moving now.
There we go. So, in terms of the characters, you can see that each of them has their own sets of powers and abilities. And you can change those down here and have sort of an immediate access to them, or use the drop-down menu there. Come on, Ray, finish him off.
You just swam into a riptide.
You mess with Gecko, you get the grip.
All right, so our heroes have escaped, and they've completed their first objective. Now they've got to find their way out of the whole facility, and, as Mondo says, make sure there's no other mutants who are left behind. So we see there are next objectives here. We can open up the objectives window, and we see we've got to find a way to escape in general, and we have secondary objectives to knock out all the guards and to free all the other prisoners. Let's see where we're going next. And here we meet the first of our cameos, a perennial fan favorite in pretty much any incarnation, Slash. And Slash here is, I've kept him pretty close to his Archie interpretation. He's still a sort of wildly violent character who's unstable at best. And
Man Ray, engaging.
downright dangerous at worst. He actually can go crazy in the combat encounters and can end up
Catch these wheels,
killing his own allies. Although at the moment it looks like his AI is not
You swing,
functional.
I swerve.
So this is an alpha build, and so there are occasionally going to be bits that don't quite work right, or things that I'm still polishing. So my apologies for that, but it's coming along pretty well. So we see here Slash is just given a brief appearance in the campaign, and really his cameo is setting up his use in later stories. And that's what many of the characters who we're going to sort of encounter through this adventure are doing. They're essentially just,
Man Ray here.
setting up a future appearance. Many of these characters will have significance later on in the stories. Here we meet another character that many folks from fans of the cartoons and fans of the toy line might recognize. The Mutagen Man. Or, as Mondo will name him shortly, Seymour Guts, which shows you Mondo's level of sensitivity. And here I've taken a page from IDW's version of this character, where he's more of a tragic figure, whereas the
You mess with Gecko.
cartoon, the classic cartoon, which I love, it tends not always to give us the best, the most definitive versions of these characters, because it can certainly be rather silly at times, and lean into that rather than, I think, explore some of the more interesting elements of some of these characters. And old Seymour here is one of those. I think he's such a horrific visual, such a horrific possibility. And here he prompts our two protagonists to think about their own mutations and sort of what might have been. And I've tried to take that kind of approach for this story, where there's a mixture of the lighthearted and the adventurous and the heroic, and
I can't take it.
at least room for more dramatic elements in the stories as well, which is rather close to how the Archie series itself treated its characters. All right, now we have a bit of a race against time. These guys are going to try to call in reinforcements, and we've got to stop them before they can do that.
Dude. Radical reptile income.
And here's our particular
Missed me by a mile.
problem child. Uh-oh, out of energy.
You asked for this.
There we go.
Ha! Missed me by
Can I get him in time here?
Radical reptile incoming. You
I'll
mess with
finish
Gecko. You
Oh,
get the
I
grip.
blew it. So we're now going to have another cadre of troops coming at us, and that's going to make this a bit more challenging.
Let's shred these chumps.
All right, so we defeated this set of guards, and now we might have a way forward. With Man Ray and Mondo, I've tried to stick pretty close to their classic Archie incarnations, and these two I felt like were captured pretty well by the original series, and I'll talk more about their actual like game builds in a moment. But in terms of personality, we see Mondo as, you know, the lighthearted vivant, bon vivant, sort of more of the Michelangelo figure, of course, and Man Ray, he's more of the sort of square-jawed, heroic type. He's our most idealistic character, the one who really is trying to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, and who I think is sort of the natural leader of the team. And in terms of their builds, I have designed Man Ray to be sort of one of the bruisers of the team. He's one of the powerhouses. He's modeled on Aquaman, DC fame. He's a favorite character of mine. And that's sort of makes sense because the original comics definitely drew heavily on Aquaman and his own interpretation there. But so he's this powerful figure he's strong, he's tough, he's not particularly fast. Whereas Mondo, he's our scout. He's very fast, he's very flexible, he's very agile. And he's got some sort of state-changing attacks and abilities that can allow him to tie up enemies, as you saw a moment ago. All right. So the plot advances. We find out, or we are about to find out, sort of how we're to go about this. Here's where we get our background, our exposition. We learn a little bit about this facility and sort of what's going on, and how Nullcorp is using their contacts with the government to essentially advance their own agenda and use mutants as property, as a way to experiment, a way to advance their own science and their own research. All right, now that we've got the key card, we can get through this big door and see. Oh, first we've got to deal with the reinforcements coming this way.
Ready when you are. You asked for this. Moving now.
Right. We'll use Mondo to keep him tied up while Man Ray does some damage.
Wrong mutant.
Radical reptile incoming.
You're way out of your
This
depth.
lizard's got moves, man.
And use Mondo to get the heck out of dodge when things get dangerous.
Can't catch the gecko.
Not on my watch.
Righteous
Won't sink
rules,
me that
dude.
way.
Can't catch the gecko.
You just swam into a
Enjoy,
riptide.
dude. Got it, dude.
I'm setting my course for danger.
You mess with the gecko, you get the
Ship
grip.
shape again. You asked for this.
Got it, ready
Ready
to
to
ride. Time to grind.
Time to
You
take out the
swing,
trash.
I swerve. Radical reptile incoming. Let's rock and roll.
There we go. All right, now we can get through the door. So, Mondo, being a gecko, has some regenerative abilities, which makes sense to me. All right, now we meet another of my favorite characters, Leatherhead, who, of course, is also here with me. He's such a great concept from the original cartoon, and I've definitely drawn on that sort of classic interpretation for my version of him. He's something of a mix between the Archie and the cartoon versions. He's very much sort of got the Cajun stereotypes and the sort of larger than life persona, and I imagine him as sort of beginning as that cartoon version and growing into the hero that we see in the Archie comics, which is roughly the arc that he takes in those original stories. He sort of starts out as an anti-hero, or perhaps anti-villain, and it's only sort of gradually that but he grows into the more selfless character that we meet later. And you'll notice in terms of his build, he's got
Not on my watch.
many of the abilities that are drawn from his actual toy. He's got various traps that he can lay out and that can. So I've missed him there, but that could catch an enemy unaware. He's got a net. He's got his swamp buster shotgun. All kinds of fun things like that. And this is something that I've tried to do for all of my characters that had a toy figure. I tried to draw on the toys for inspiration and as a way to give these characters extra flavor.
Fish food.
Let's get gnarly for justice.
All right. And so, Leatherhead, he speaks with sort of the more broken Cajun accent. He's got the sort of larger-than-life, cartoonish, guarantee, those kinds of verbal elements. And I'm portraying him as sort of one of the more misanthropic characters in the Mutanimals, at least to start with. He's been on his own. He's been sort of this bully figure that we encounter in the cartoon, and it's only after his adventures that he fully grows into the character, the hero character that he can be. And you may notice there that the heal ups, the power ups are pizzas, and keeping with our theme, I try to do a lot of that kind of fun sort of thematic work with this mod. You also may notice that
Where they at? Man Ray standing by.
Radical
There we go.
reptile at your service.
each of the characters has a custom voice pack. Leatherhead's is actually drawn from his cartoon appearance, and so we have that.
Ready when you are.
Let's see.
No creature wilder than old Leatherhead, you betcha.
That classic cartoon voice from Jim Cummings, whereas our other characters have AI voice packs, which I was able to create with 11 Labs that I'm relatively happy with. And here we meet another of my favorites. Wingnut, complete with Screw Loose, at least in spirit, if not in fact, and I'll talk more about that in a moment. And
What's the situation?
the
What's up, bro?
Mad Bat is one that's always been a favorite of mine since I was a kid. I've loved his toy, and I loved him as a concept in the Mutanimals. Although his
Ready when you are.
his role there was reduced as were the rest of the characters. Oh, Mondo's in trouble down here.
Incoming. Radical reptile.
There we go. And this frees frees Wingnut, who's got a number of state changing abilities. He's sort of a utility player for us.
I'm setting my course for danger.
He can deal danger, or not deal danger, he can deal damage, but he also can serve as a distraction and as somebody to sort of disable characters.
Danger.
Can't keep a good gecko down.
Guarantee.
Crazy beats clever.
Right.
Now I got you.
I'll handle it.
Taste fatty justice.
Righteous
Down to our last fellow here. It's a bit unfair, all the the mutants beating on him. But we have freed. Oh, we've got a last survivor up here. Let's see if
Is it a lunatic?
our boy can take him out. There we go. don't know how he managed to get up there. One of our heroes must have knocked him out of the map.
Righteous rumble, dude.
You picked the wrong mutant.
So with Wingnut, I've taken a pretty much I've taken his character pretty much straight from the Archie comics. He's this survivor of a world destroyed by Krang, which was an element in the comics that was really interesting. It definitely elevated the threat of Krang and made him seem more significant. And here you'll notice that Screw Loose himself is not physically present on the map, but he's here in spirit. He's talking to us in the cutscenes. I don't have the art asset for him yet, although once again I've got some artists who are working on it for me. And as much fun as I had with Mondo's dialogue, I had great fun with Wingnuts and Screw Loose's as well. They've got this great sort of deranged buddy cop energy that I think is a lot of fun. And I think like this idea of this sort of unstable, unhinged member of the team is something that gives us a lot of potential. He's somebody who you never quite know what he's going to do or how he's going to interact. But these four are my four favorite characters in Mutanimals, and I've already managed to create voice packs for them, and I'm still working on the voice packs for the other two members of the team, Jaguar and Dredmon, so you won't hear those, but you will hear these guys as we go. And the I am entertained by my dialogue and by the writing of this, even if nobody else is, which that was always the point, was to tell stories I wanted to tell, and to play with these characters and explore these settings. So hopefully other folks enjoy them as well. But I feel I've done something that entertains me, which is good enough. And so here we see again Leatherhead as sort of the more misanthropic member of our team. He's more concerned with mutants than he's more xenophobic, more concerned about outsiders, uncertain about trusting easily or quickly. You may also have noticed that there's custom music for each of these scenes. And in fact, when we meet a new hero, a new mutant each time, they are introduced sort of with their own theme song, and I was able to use AI music for that as well, which is a fun way to sort of add up, to build out the world a little bit, build out these characters a little bit in more than just one dimension. All right, and here we meet Jaguar, who was sort of like the second, the lieutenant of the Mutanimals in many ways. He's very much a noble character, sort of in the same way as Man Ray. But he has an interesting backstory. He's something rather different than the other characters. He at least believes, whether the truth is, that he's the son of the Jaguar spirit rather than just a mutant. And we'll talk more about that. Uh-oh. We're getting overwhelmed here. Alright.
May as well try to take on it.
Hope you like road rash, bro.
Let's see if we can slow things down a little bit.
You couldn't
There we
hit the
go.
broadside of a battleship.
Let's rock and roll. Way.
So once again, sort of drawing inspiration from the classic toys. Oh, Mondo, get out of there. I've built Wingnut with some of the elements from his toy, including things like bombs and some projectile attacks.
Man Ray standing by.
So here's what I was talking about in terms of Jaguar's background. In the Archie comics, he's this really interesting addition because he is more of a magical creature than he is just a simple mutant. He's the son of the Jaguar spirit in South America, and he in the mod I keep that same basic idea, but I play a little bit more coy with it. I'm not going to necessarily say he is this or isn't this. I think there's some fun in leaving it a bit ambiguous. He believes this, but is this actually true? Or is this simply the story that he sort of told himself? I think that creates some interesting story possibilities. And what I want with these characters and with this campaign is to capture the spirit of the original comics and the original characters, but give them a chance to grow into something a bit more than we saw in those original stories. And Man Ray is sort of the skeptic of the group. He's, in the original stories, was a scientist before he was mutated. He was a marine biologist. And so I've tried to reflect that in his characterization. Okay, we've got another pizza here that can heal up a hero, and Mondo has taken a bit of damage, so
Justice!
let's have him use it.
Wings ready. Mind questionable.
Alright, we are approaching our final member of our team, Dreadmon. And here we go. Let's see if we can get him freed and then finish our story. Alright.
I'm listening.
Let's get gnarly for justice!
Hello, magic voice in my head. Hello,
Catch
magic
these
voice in my
wheels,
head.
dude!
I'm happy for you to see me again.
Back in the fight.
Once again, we're down to just one.
Hope you like road rash, bro!
All right, so Dreadmon is his backstory in the classic comics is just a tad convoluted. He is the son of a South African rebel who's opposing apartheid, and he gets exiled from his country, ends up in Jamaica, where he steals a Australian Aboriginal totem that mutates him and gives him magical speed powers. It's a lot, and so I've kept the basic idea here, but I've sort of played a bit coy with that as well, and I have tried to just sort of like touch the surface of it, and it's there, but we're not going to get too in the weeds with it. And the important thing is, as he says, it be magic. Like he's this other kind of creature. He's not just a mutant. And that's one of the things I thought was interesting in the original Mutanimals mixture of characters, that he does have this sort of different perspective, and in general they're this mix of different kinds of characters. You've got animal mutants, you've got human mutants, you've got these sort of more spiritual characters, these more magical characters. And I think that sort of mixture offers some interesting possibilities in storytelling and character development. All right, we are facing our finale here. Let's see what's behind the big door. So here's another example of this being the alpha build. That's obviously the Batwing. That's our stand-in for our Mutanimals flyer. But that's something that I'm gonna get a new art asset for soon. Here we go. Let's see if we can free the remaining mutants.
No joy,
Wings
dude.
ready. Mind? Questionable.
No joy, dude.
For the oldest trick of this here swamp.
Justice.
Bind it.
Point. Shout.
You swing, I swear.
Chosen. Oh,
getting,
I like being chosen.
Bogged down here.
What's the situation?
So if we can free our
This slick.
allies here, we'll have the ability to have them join the fight. And you'll recognize probably many of these characters if you have the toys or if you watch the classic cartoon. There we go.
Got it, dude.
I'll handle it. What's the situation?
This lizard's got moves, man. Radical reptile incoming. Catch these wheels, dude.
Right. We're almost through here. There we go. Alright, escape is in sight. Here's our sort of big hero moment where Man Ray makes his appeal and the team itself is formed. And I wanted there to be sort of a real turning point for these characters where they embrace a heroic path and sort of really sort of steer into those ideas of them as the hero team of this universe, sort of the Avengers of the mutant set, the other mutant set. You'll recognize many of these characters. You've got Ground Chuck and Dirtbag. You've got Scumbug. I don't have Worm yet, but he's on my list, and if I get him, he'll join this adventure. As with Slash, many of these characters, these are cameos now, but they're setting up their role later in the story. And Scratch here, who's many fans will recognize from his classic toy, he's sort of taking the old Hob role from the IDW series. And the IDW series, I think, in general, tends to give us some of the best versions of the Turtles universe and these characters. It tends to sort of be the best of all Turtles worlds. But I felt like their version of the Mutanimals was something of a missed opportunity. They tended to feel flat and grim and sort of joyless. And it's in a darker universe. It's a darker setting than the classic cartoon, which is very over the top and very silly. I love it in its silliness, but admittedly, it's not the most sophisticated of storytelling. But Old Hob, I thought, was a really interesting addition to this universe and to Turtles lore. This sort of anti-hero figure who's sort of the Magneto to Splinter's Professor X, or in this case, Magneto to Man Ray's Professor X. The voice of vengeance, the voice of repercussion, the voice of superiority, rather than the voice of cooperation and heroism and self-sacrifice. And I think there's an interesting dynamic to be explored between sort of this positive mutant team and this negative mutant team. One dedicated to reconciliation and one dedicated to self-aggrandizement. And of course, that's Man Ray's plea: is let's use what we have for the greater good. And our Mutanimals are the ones who take him up on it. They're the core team there. And even Leatherhead, we see him grow over the course of this mission. His first exposures to kindness, his first exposures to compassion that sort of show him that maybe he's missing out on something. And you see, he's not fully on board, but at least he's sort of moving in that direction. And of course, Wingnut, who's, he's crazy, but these guys seem fun, so he's in. Not exactly a hero figure. And here we are, the Mighty Mutanimals. Mondo is living his best life in this adventure. He is having a blast. Life and death situations, but hey, we've got secret facilities and aliens and mutants of all kinds, and so this is a great time. All right, and that is the first adventure of my Mighty Mutanimals campaign. So this gives you a sense of sort of like what the story might look like and how the story could be told. I've got a whole arc plotted out with bringing in many of the elements from the classic cartoons and classic comics and expanding them in interesting ways as well. I've even got sections built on some of the if any of y'all are familiar with the unrealized TV pitch that the creators made, where they had these sort of other characters presented. So I might be able to draw on some of those for some of the storylines, which I think would be a lot of fun. And this gives you the chance to sort of right something that's always been wrong in my eyes, the treatment of Mutanimals, the sad fate of Mutanimals, and give them a story that I would like to see, and I hope others would like to see as well. I hope this was interesting to y'all. I hope that y'all found this exploration of these characters and this sort of like behind the scenes glimpse into some of what went into the creation of this story fun. I actually was able to create the script itself, the Python code, with AI assistance. This is something that Python is not one of my languages, and my efforts to learn it haven't gone as well as I would have liked. And I've sort of reached the point where I'm like, well, to get the facility with this that I would need to do the kinds of things I want to do, it just takes more time than I've got right now. And what I've been using up till this point is M25, a brilliant member of our community. He created this sort of like interface between Python and a more plain language, more plain English coding system, where it sort of sits on top of the Python code. And it gives you tons of possibilities. I've used it to do all kinds of cool things in my projects. But it just doesn't give you quite as much freedom and quite as many options as full Python coding. So I experimented in this project with and continue to experiment with writing a script that's sort of the ideas, the plans, the all the actual like story, and then having that translated into actual code by an AI. It's been something of a mixed success. I've managed to create a successful functional mission here with it, but I definitely have had a lot of time troubleshooting and trying to figure out things that screwed up. And what I've realized is that while AI can code, it's not very good at it. So we are still a ways from this, eliminating the need for actual humans who know what they're doing much more than I do. All right, well, so I think that covers everything about sort of this first mission and how it came to be and what shape the future holds here. And please, if you have feedback for me about character balance, about storylines, things you'd like to see, things you have questions about, please let me know through the comments. And if you want to know more about this project, feel free to follow along. I'll be posting more as I go. I'm moving slowly these days, but I am making progress. My next step, in theory at least, is a He-Man campaign, so I'll start that, and I should post some information about that soon. All right, folks, have a good evening, and thank you for tuning in.